Finally, we come to the committee and staff, and I know this is going on a bit, but I think it's important you get the full flavour of what it's like working at Readville. It explains why current and former staff members are all half mad. The committee and staff, the wonderful relationship we have, it certainly started off, from what I can see, absolutely splendidly. John Dowson, we'll have to have a word with him afterwards, because he certainly had a way of dealing with committee that I think I certainly like. Meeting on the 7th of January 1976, the chairman proposed that all members of the committee take an active part in the association. Mr. Dowson stated that a questionnaire would be issued to householders and the committee could arrange to deliver them. I have not dared to try that despite finding it a year ago. However, again, here we come to John Buckley really tightening up the procedures. 13th of May 1976. The chairman requested that all subcommittees minute their meetings. The chairman explained that this would help the staff. Well, it certainly does, you know, have some sort of written record of what happened. And while we're on the subject of the staff, I think it's important to understand that Readvale has always been very, very sharp in getting the best staff it could get. It doesn't accept any old dross. It really goes for it. And if I can illustrate this, by a little episode.
I was out when you get back to
I was amazed. I've never spoken this long in his company without being interrupted. 26th of May 1976. And I have cleared this for the person concerned, so I'm sure I'm not going to get into trouble about Emma Whale. I'm away in Holland all next week anyways. I'm sure a lot of you are envious of. It was stated that there were 11 applications for the vacancy as housing manager. The management committee agreed to get in touch with Joan Grant and arrange to interview any surplus applicants from Govan Hill. However, having gone through that process, we move on. 9th of June, 12 inquiries were made for the post of housing manager. A Miss Scott was interviewed on the 8th of June 1976. The interview lasted 1 hour. This lady seemed to have lots of experience and the committee were quite impressed. Quite impressed, not over the top. Mr. Dowson was of the opinion she was a very capable person. A second interview will take place on the 11th of June. A man from Cumbernauld. I hope to be able to introduce you to this man shortly. A man from Cumbernauld who has many qualifications. Is the man from Cumbernauld here? Could he identify himself? You're not here, Robert. Robert of Elder Park is not here. No? Well, that's just as well, bearing in mind what I'm about to say about him. On the 23rd of June, the committee reported on their interview with the man from Cumbernauld. You may not have heard this before, Robert. The committee interviewed a man from Cumbernauld. No names, no bad. And I think it shows the perceptive nature of the committee and their interviewing skills. I think it's as true today as it was then. He had no experience of tenement property and expected a higher salary than the committee was prepared to offer. Plus ça change. Right. Having got the staff. Having got the staff, people are expected to really get down to it, and anybody who knows Linda's work rate will, have no problems with accepting that. 7th of July 1976, Mr. Buttery reported that Miss Scott will start on the 26th of July 1976. Miss Scott will be on holiday the first 2 weeks in August. Sometimes the committee sort of went off on their own and don't listen to guidance from their advisors who are paid to advise them, and that can lead to unfortunate circumstances, unfortunate for the committee in some cases. I, the Secretary, proposed that all committee members read the Housing Act 1974. This was seconded by Mr. Kerr and agreed with the committee. Now, I don't know how many of them have got through it yet, but it's it's good to know that they're so conscientious, because none of the staff have read the 1974 Housing Act. 14th of December 1977, Mr Meldrum proposed that the association appoint a director. The proposal was carried unanimously. And sure enough, I was appointed director just about 11 years later. No dilly-dallying there. Then we come across what I think is probably the most useless question, the most inane question in the English language, or the most inane question I've ever found in anything in the English language. 29th of March 1978, and I must explain that John arrived a little bit late for this meeting. He came in at item 4. Item 4 happened to be Chairman's remarks, and some fool said, or some fool who was recorded here, Mr Butterley joined the meeting at this point and was asked if he had any remarks. The self-same meeting contains one of the great mysteries of our minutes, which I hope somebody who was there will tell me what it means. At the end of the minute, after any other business, and the meeting was concluded, it says, P.S. Due to circumstances, the date of the next meeting will be changed to Tuesday 25th of April, at which time a further explanation will be given. What were they doing? I won't bore you with the long entry about the difficulty I had getting a finance officer and the young trainee accountant working in Dalmuir Park who was keen to work for a housing association, except to say that the young trainee accountant of 1980 who was keen to work had mastered all the necessary skills of being a finance manager by 23rd of March 1994, when the Staff and Training Subcommittee agreed that the association purchase a mobile phone for the finance manager to enable him to be contacted. We're also in the forefront of supplying transport to staff, not going down the old route of cars for directors and all that sort of boring stuff that nobody ever gets through the committee. But 3rd of May 1989, it was agreed that a bicycle be purchased by the association. It was further agreed, because we don't rush into these things, there are aspects to be considered here. It was further agreed that Linda Scott would investigate. Linda Scott gets all this crap to do. Whenever there's a daft decision made, I say Linda will deal with that. Right, it was further agreed that Linda Scott would investigate the question of employers' liability insurance in the event of Annette Hastings having an accident while using the bike. There's two more very brief entries now. One is just to show that on occasions we have to use our very extensive negotiating skills within the organisation, not just in dealing with Scottish Homes. 16th June 1993, Mr Clark raised the question of smoking at meetings. No decision was arrived at, although the director offered to refrain from smoking cigars, provided meetings finished at 9 p.m. I haven't smoked a cigar at a meeting since then, and I don't think a meeting has finished before 9 o'clock since then either. So, I remember one meeting to discuss a particular issue where I suggested to the committee that as it was 10 minutes past midnight, perhaps we should adjourn, and they voted on it. The last item of this, the last item in the minutes that I went through, is dated the 21st of June 1995, and it says, item 9, John Butterley. Mrs McInnes, the Vice Chairman, stated that she wished on behalf of the committee to express their appreciation of John Butterley's efforts on behalf of the association during his 20 years as Chairman, this being his last meeting in this capacity. Mr Butterley thanked the committee and stated how much he had enjoyed his time as Chairman. And I'm sure that everybody that knows him doesn't doubt that statement for a second, John. And on behalf of the association, I would like to give you a little token of our appreciation, which is a bound volume, not of my speech, but of the expanded extract from the minutes, showing some highlights of your career here, which I hope you will enjoy reading. At the very front, there are a couple of pages, which some of us have signed already. I would hope that in the course of the evening, everybody here signs this book for John, just to add your name to the commemoration. John, thank you.
This is your life here. All I can do now is just to let you enjoy the night. Thank you all for coming. It was great to see you all again. When I come through that door, the memories flew back, and you remember the times when we did meet and we were all busy together and what we were doing. It was very touching, I must say. And I thought I got a shock today, but I've had a big one tonight and all. I think I'll need to look at the hard balls. Thank you very much.